Hello Richard, again, we've just finished our live streaming questions.
Yes, we have.
Now we have another 50 for you to rush through if you can.
Okay.
Still in Richard's house. Welcome to Richard's house, everybody.
Hi.
Question number 1. What is the best memory you have of Latin America? Asks Dr. 46.
Wow. Maybe the first time we went to Buenos Aires, we just went for a massive walk around the city and went to the huge cemetery whose, oh god, what's it called? For some reason my brain is telling me it's like a Ricoletta or something, but that might just be a type of pasta. But there's a huge cemetery there that's absolutely amazing and mind-blowing, and it's full of cats and full of amazing graves, and I think Eva Perón is buried there, and just tons of amazing statues, and it's like a museum to death or something, and it's completely amazing. So yeah, that was brilliant, and it's such a wonderful place. But I honestly, I don't know, I love being there, being on a rooftop in Sao Paulo, rooftop bar, and just looking around and seeing the skyscrapers just all the way around you. It's such a huge city, it's mind-blowingly massive, and that was pretty cool as well.
Lots of happy memories in that.
Yes.
Question 2 from Boston Keen fan. Why did you become a vegetarian and how long have you been one?
I became a vegetarian. My sister became a vegetarian. She's a bit older than me, and I guess that got me thinking about it, and then I guess I just didn't want... I've always loved animals, and you know, I guess I just realised where meat came from. And I was about 13, so I've been veggie for 22 years. Wow. Yeah, that's a while, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Next question is from Luciana, Brazil, who asks, if you could choose to play for one night in any other band, which band would it be?
Oh, that's a good question. Ooh, that's an almost impossible question. I think it would probably be quite fun to be in the Beatles for a night. And I know some of the songs. Yeah, or... I don't know, I went to watch Blur when we played at a few shows festivals where they were playing as well, and I managed to get on stage to watch the end of one of their shows, and growing up, you know, and listening to their music and going to see them play live. I think I went to see them in like '97, I think it was, at Wembley Arena. I would have loved to have been playing the drums in that gig, and Dave Rowntrey's an absolutely amazing drummer, definitely one of the huge, you know, driving forces in me loving the drums and playing the drums. I used to play along to Blur records all the time at home, just put them on the headphones and play the whole record from start to finish, and so yeah, that would be pretty cool as well.
Next question is from Nicole in the USA, asks, what kind of camera do you have?
I have a Nikon F6 film camera, and then for the website stuff I use a digital camera, so I can do it all very quickly from my laptop, which is a D700. And I have a little Hasselblad medium format and a Polaroid pinhole camera and all kinds of things. And I have a little dark room up at my little farmhouse, and so I get to print and develop stuff. I made Tim a print of the Schwarzer Cafe logo for his birthday this year, which was pretty cool. So that was, yeah, it's really fun being able to print photos.
Next question is an interesting one from Blue Gina, who says she knows you're vehemently against the death penalty, and
yes,
in the case of even a shadow of a doubt, she agrees, and she thinks the time people are held on death row is inexcusable, but the question she asks is, in beyond doubt questions, what would your alternative be, given the high rate of reoffending and the argument that rehabilitation and incarceration just don't work for some people? So what, if somebody has clearly done something terribly bad, what would someone like yourself, who doesn't advocate the death penalty, suggest instead?
Well, I think there are some cases where people should just stay in prison till they die. Everyone dies. science hasn't cured that one yet. So yeah, when people, you know, terrible people do terrible things that, and you know, don't in any way regret doing it or whatever, there is the possibility of staying in prison for people's whole lives, and it's cheaper than executing them, which means that states like California, which are bankrupt, get to spend more money on education rather than, you know, basically pointlessly ending someone's life early. They're going to die eventually. It's a lot cheaper to just keep people in prison. So I think when the parole hearing comes, I don't believe in life without parole. I think there should always be the hope that people could, if they, you know, definitely are improved as people and definitely regret what they did, and that they should be allowed to have a second chance if they're rehabilitated. Because I think a lot of people that do bad things after a long time realise that they've done bad things and want to almost make up for it. And I've met people for whom that's the case. But yeah, if people are unrepentant and, you know, unapologetic, then they can stay in prison for their whole lives, and it's cheaper than the death penalty, and, you know, why waste your money on that as well? And I just don't think. I think killing people is reducing yourself to the level of the bad people.
Next question is from Bevans, who says that Keane have never played a gig in New Zealand, and there are loads of Keane fans who would love to see you play.
Yes, and it's something that, you know, we want to do, and we kind of, I'm not quite sure why it hasn't happened, why we haven't been there, because we've been quite close by. I know Tom's been there a couple of times just himself, so maybe you'll catch him doing karaoke one night, but I would love to go there and play some shows, and also I'd love to be able to hang out for a few weeks afterwards and see the country, because my mum and dad went there and said it was absolutely mind-blowing. So
is it sometimes sort of economics, it just doesn't, because it's that bit further away than Australia, it just doesn't sort of work out?
I think it's normally that we don't like to go away for too long in one stretch, and so if you go to Australia you can just kind of do quite a few cities in one hit, and then you tend to go to Japan as well. I think we need to just do an Australia and New Zealand trip, or just bite the bullet and stay away from home for a little bit longer, but it's not something we like to do. We tend to sort of want to get home, you know, after about 3 or 4 weeks.
Bedshaped32 asks, which Keane song is the hardest to drum live?
That's quite a good question. Sometimes it just depends on how much you can hear and what the room's like. If it's a really big echoey room, sometimes you get sort of reflected sound which sort of puts you off, and if you're in a venue which has got a big flat end wall and you're in the crowd, you should turn around sometimes, or maybe you notice on the way to the bar you'll hear music sort of bouncing back at you. So that just depends on what the room is, but Atlantic's quite hard to play really in a really sort of grooving way, because it's quite a strange beat, but also because it's quite slow, and Tim's playing quite an intricate piano part, so to get it all to work together is, you know, when it does work, it's really great fun. Perfect symmetry is quite difficult because of the backing vocals as well, but again, when it works and grooves, it's really good. But yeah, I don't know. The newer ones it always takes a little while for newer songs to settle in, and once they're sort of clicked, it's, you know, you get nights where you barely think about what you're doing, and that's probably the best kind of gig.
Linear Ramp saw on YouTube you singing Somewhere Only We Know at the sound check during the Forest tour. They'd like to know if you enjoyed that, and will you ever do it again?
No and no. It was terrifying.
Especially, did you know the fans were watching? Was it apparent that...
It became apparent as we were doing it that there were people watching. Yeah, I mean, we knew people were there, but I didn't realise quite how well they could hear it. I forgot the words, and no, it's absolutely terrifying. I have actually learned to play it on the bass though, so Jessie and I might switch around and do that at some point.